Worked in nuclear power plants, I worked in thermal power plants.
How many years of experience did you have in the industry then?
The experience that I have had with Ion Exchange definitely helped me.
I understand you've done it in Germany. What made you go there and why not IIM?
If you say you're from IIM, you have a different perspective altogether.
So you started your career after your graduation in SAP itself.
That's where I think I got really attracted towards supply chain management of SAP.
What's the second thing that you wanted to mention?
In Sanjeev Reddy Nagar, I was thinking, when will we get a metro? Will we ever get a metro?
Beyond Shilparamam, it was like a desert or rather jungle.
We used to cycle from IDPL to Durgam Charu for a picnic.
So my question is, do students, engineering students, learn BTP in their course?
So this is one area for students to look into right now.
What is the difference between SAP functional modules, ABAP, and what's S4 HANA?
But it is like driving a Maruti 800 to a Merc. That's the difference between SAP old software to S4 HANA.
Namaste, I'm Srilata Shankar. In continuation with our leadership talks, today we have Prakash Bharatam with us. He's worked in different companies, different roles. Prior to the current assignment, he was working with Entity Data as Chief Solutions Architect. He currently is working as a director at Creator Technologies. Prakash, welcome to ITTV.
Thank you very much.
Can you please let us know what your journey is after your business management education? Before that, I would just give a synopsis of the talk today. We are going to cover Prakash's journey after his master's degree, what made him move from management to technology, why did he choose SAP, what are the avenues for SAP for an engineering student who is just passing out, why SAP, why not PeopleSoft or Oracle, which all three are ERP, and what are the future goals for a student, why SAP and why not AI, ML, data science, etc., or .NET or Java. And he will also tell us what his journey is going to be and how a student can mold their journeys. Prakash, please, we are delighted to have you. Please enlighten us of your journey.
It is. I want to just go one step back from my master's, which I did in Germany. Done my bachelor's in business management. After that, I worked for a couple of years, about 3 years, with a company called Ion Exchange. This company is basically into water treatment solutions for industrial applications. There could be demineralization, solid liquid separation. So this basically made me work for several industries. The exposure is so good that I worked in a de-oiling, in an oil refinery, or a power plant, could be coal-fired or a gas-fired, or paper making, pharmaceuticals, you name it, you have all these solid liquid separations, so very huge applications. So that exposure basically, I think, helped me later when I got into SAP. Back in those days, in '99, I switched to my master's. I went to do my master's, specialized in SAP supply chain. This helped me, use my experience of working with Ion Exchange and how best I can, apply SAP configuration to these industries.
So wonderful. So I understand, as you finished your graduation, you started your career with Ion Exchange, right. Then took a break, went to do masters. And how many years of experience did you have in the industry then?
Industry, I worked for about 3.5 years, which was quite a lot, because I tell you, I worked from Digboy in Arunachal Pradesh for oldest refinery, to Kutch in Tata Salt, and then I worked in a couple of areas in Delhi, Shimla, and down south I went to even Trivandrum and worked. So the reason is, the travel was heavy, applications, understanding of them very heavy. I worked in nuclear power plants, I worked in thermal power plants, I worked in you name it, the big industry.
A really chartered career you have had.
That helped me a lot. I still cherish those days because those were the initial days, learning days, and you will understand how a boiler functions or how a turbine works and how the steam runs or how a gas-fired work. So you explore a lot, you learn a lot. Uh, Worked in small scale, steel manufacturing to large scale Godavari or Krishna, blast furnaces of Vizag Steel. So your exposure is quite large.
So when you worked in SAP and you've had such a vast exposure, you've traveled across the pan India. What made you take a business management course in? I understand you've done it in Germany. What made you go there, and why not IIM?
I happened to bump into my professor, who is taught me in Geetam. We just had a coffee together, and he said, it's the IT revolution that's happening. You should be part of it, and he suggested me to go to Germany to do masters. Professor Ranganatha. He was living in NIMS. His wife was an RMO there. So he suggested me to go for it, and he asked me to meet so and so for. He gave me an email ID. I created an email ID in '98, and then wrote and then got an admission there. Went to Germany to do my masters. Did a small internship, call it practicum there, and then once that's done, junior consultant. But my, the experience that I have had with Ion Exchange definitely helped me because I could relate things faster. I could do things, my learning curve in SAP was very fast. Even today I get, very quickly I understand the lingo of any industry that I go in. That's one of the lucky areas that I've had in my career.
So you started your career after your graduation in SAP itself, right? Why not IIM?
Didn't even think about it. Yeah, I've done later one, course as a senior management program. What happens is, even if you're from Carnegie Mellon, India does not recognize that. If you say you're from IIM, you have a different perspective altogether. Just joking, but then yeah, IIM I have done, in 2017 and 18, a senior management programs to basically, reskill or upskill yourself, where you will understand the strategies, the new developments that are happening. So from the management perspective, you have been technically good, but you have to also sail through the management. So that helped me there.
Sure. And what was your stream of subject in your post graduation?
Computer applications in business, where SAP is a main part. So that's where I think I got really attracted towards supply chain management of SAP.
And what got you back to India? Unlike the lot of people who go to the West and settle down there, what got you back to India? Which is wonderful that you came back to India.
Thank you. I think I wanted to be part of the growth story of India because I've seen that's really happening. Particularly if you see Hyderabad. Back in 90s, we didn't have even roads are single, right? Now you have wide roads. You have back in those days in Sanjeev Reddy Nagar, I was thinking, when will we get a metro? Will we ever get a metro? Now you see you have metro, you have wonderful infrastructure, but the city also grown really high.
I completely agree with you. 1989, when Mr. Naidu was the CM then of the undivided AP, we only had Shilparamam, and beyond Shilparamam, it was like a desert or rather jungle. So now completely you go beyond Bachupalli and so many other areas.
I was born and brought up in IDPL, IDPL colony, very close by. We used to cycle from IDPL to Durgam Cheruvu for a picnic. Back then I know those roads were muddy roads. Yeah, nothing, muddy roads. Yeah. We used to cycle through.
You wouldn't even have had a road. Yeah. Right. So what are the features of SAP for a student that an engineering student who's just passing out? What are the features of SAP which he thinks he can build a career on?
I mean, I would see it as two parts. One is what's now working with SAP. In SAP now, something SAP is offering called BTP. It's a technology platform, business technology platform, where SAP is bringing all the technical areas into it. Like they're already brought in rather. It's SAP is programmed in ABAP. It's an advanced business programming language. And you see, BTP is offering integrations, analytics, data lakes, and you have the standard operational reporting that's happening on SAP. So it is like a conglomeration of all the technical part of SAP. So since SAP has gone SaaS a lot now, it's offered more on cloud. So this platform is really helping in integrating, in interacting with multiple softwares and so on. So this is one area for students to look into right now. If someone is good at BTP, BTP is again multiple, but one of those BTP areas definitely is going to give this is going to be a wave. Like when I went into SAP in '99, there was a wave of supply chain. So I could take the leap there. Similarly, this is a technology wave.
So my question is, do students, engineering students, learn BTP in their course? So what do you suggest for the universities and students?
This is a very interesting area because in German universities, I see them really taking these things very seriously and train. Some of the Indian universities offer SAP, but it is mere like, how to create a sales order or how to create a purchase order.
Very elementary stuff.
Very elementary stuff, not really, you come out and start probably doing an object for development. That's still not happening with universities.
What's the second thing that you wanted to mention?
The second thing is the programming part of SAP has been traditional, whether it is reporting, whether it is scripting, whether it is you do batch data communications. Basically, you transfer data from one system to another. These are like continuously they will be there because of multiple reasons. It could be because of you use a lot of third-party systems, or if you use some Excel, you develop a few a lot of such things which we do it outside. Preferably not. We don't really encourage doing that, but in some cases, what happens is you have to suddenly upload a few purchase orders because you could not do it, or your one of the sites could not really create. So you get that in Excel and you develop a program to upload. So these things are standard, but they are like now bare minimum kind of requirements. Those are fading away, right. But those guys can transform themselves into BTP.
Right. So when I was working in Intelli Group, we had SAP, MM module, HR module, PP, etc., FICO, etc. Today you have S4 HANA. What is S4 HANA and what is the difference between SAP, MM, functional modules, ABAP, and what's S4 HANA?
Functional modules are nearly same. The application per se, per business scenarios, it has transformed to latest developments, but I mean, the standards are nearly same. But it is like driving a Maruti 800 to a Merc. That's the difference between SAP old software to S4 HANA. S4 HANA is an in-memory computing software. It sits on a HANA database where it sits on an in-memory computer. Basically, you are using a modular chip to store your data. Whereas in older versions, it's a transparent tables, RDBMS database, sits on a magnetic tape. So to query earlier report, it used to take, say, for example, you to run an MRP. Directly, I'll come to application, material requirement planning. Sometimes it used to take 12 hours in a company. You run in the morning or night, you see the results in the morning. Whereas with S4 HANA, you can do it in like 2 or 3 minutes. So you can do multiple MRPs in a day. So that's the speed that you have gained with S4. Simply because it is columnar query. I mean, it's not only just a row store, a column store also. And also it is stored as in memory, right? So it's fast, 1800 times at times faster.
All right. Again, for an engineering student, what do you suggest are the courses that he should take along with his engineering course? Does he have to take in additional courses? Because the course per se, engineering students may not be equipped with those. Point one. Point two is, why do I need to choose SAP vis-a-vis Oracle or PeopleSoft? Question three is, why should I choose ERP vis-a-vis .NET, Java, data science, etc.?
So ERP is, as you all know, it's enterprise resource planning. It is basically a software that makes your organization run. And say top 500 companies in the world, Fortune 500, use SAP. And on an ERP market, SAP is about 40% globally. So the next best in the rear view mirror, if you see Oracle, but that's like less than 20%. So you have to be with the best, right? So the best is SAP, no doubt. And the innovation that happens in SAP is very, very, it's lot ahead compared to their competitors. So no comparison to Oracle or, Oracle is a good product. I mean, I really, Salesforce actually has picked up a lot in CRM, and it's actually killing SAP's CRM area. But SAP also innovated. SAP realized that their original product is not great. So they bought Hybris. Hybris is a C4C product where SAP is now giving a fight with Salesforce.
Okay, what is C4C?
It's nothing but Hybris. Hybris is a cloud for customer. Basically, it's a customer CRM package where they are fighting with Salesforce. Well, Oracle, they are still fighting with those supply chain and financials and so on. So Oracle is offered also on cloud. So SAP is also offered on cloud now. So things are definitely on a good fight, but SAP is lot way ahead. Particularly when I said about in-memory computing, Oracle 12c came as their database with in-memory, because they are now following the SAP trend. So that itself shows that SAP is way ahead.
Okay, and answering your second, to answer my second question, why should students choose SAP or ERP vis-a-vis .NET, Java, etc.?
Yeah, see, .NET, Java, they're all responsible for example, these are the several applications in the world, right? ERP is just one of them. So you have lots of these applications coming up in Java, in .NET, in other small platforms. But then the benefit of being into SAP is you're not just being a developer or understanding or developing a small package or on a mobile platform or so, but you're a business consultant. SAP requires business consulting. Even you take the technical path or the functional path, eventually it has to be a business consulting, because someone who understands business, someone who applies that business consulting will only grow.
Great. You have given me so many more questions in my head. Should I, as a student, should I choose to be a functional consultant or a technical consultant? And if yes, what are the areas that I should develop?
Right. I mean, functional consulting is something which you would require a little of domain experience. Like I said, my career, I started with Ion Exchange. That domain experience of working with industry helped me in SAP. Similarly, if someone who has worked in industry for a few years, they would be able to apply that knowledge into the consulting. So that growth will be different. It's a functional path. Most of these gentlemen who are in gentlemen or ladies who are in functional consulting, they will not be able to adopt technical. So they will seek the help from technical. So going forward, if a technical consultant becomes a functional, expert too, that's like a killing, combination, okay, where you will be able to do techno-functional work.
Right. So can a management student who's not done her BCA, or she's done a BBA, and or she or he has done his BBA, MBA, can they get into SAP?
I'm a live example.
There you go.
Because SAP programming language itself is a business programming language. Like I started my career understanding COBOL, which is also a business language. So when I learned ABAP, I do techno-functional. That's the best part of it. I understand the tables and fields, logics and programming. I also understand the functional part of it. How I'm able to extract this data and then use it for business scenarios.
My next question is, the engineering course does not prepare a student for any of the ERPs. They may have a course on basic elementary course on Java, .NET. So what do I have to learn to get into SAP as after I finish my engineering?
Right. If you're just coming out of engineering, I would suggest any student to adopt BTP today. This is a wave that will take another 15, 20 years of your career definitely. Like I started, I told you, right, with supply chain. But I had to keep up my learning. I learned SAP Mobile, I learned NetWeaver, I learned HANA. As it changes, you should adopt. But yes, it's a to get into the ecosystem of SAP. BTP for engineering students is the best choice today. Even the trainings are not that prevalent, even in Amirpet.
You brought out an important feature that all students need to focus upon is learning, constant learning. I see a lot of students, and I'm sure you agree with me, a lot of students, because let's say Prakash is traveling abroad very often and I'm working in Java. I'm not happy because I'm not able to travel. Prakash has traveled at least 3 times in the last 3 years. So what do you suggest to that student?
I think SAP consulting travel is like, you're doing business consulting. Travel is part and parcel of your work. Most of the consultants travel. And getting opportunities abroad also is much easier in SAP compared to other areas. This has been a standard norm all through. But I think, travel abroad, learning new things, seeing new world is very good. But I think work should lead it.
Absolutely. You shouldn't keep jumping because
Yeah, travel should not be a reason to.
either travel or money, because I've seen in my own career, and you will completely agree with me, that in IntelliGroup people came and asked the HR department saying XYZ is earning more money, he was my classmate and he's traveled a lot abroad. Can I also move into SAP? Where he doesn't have any correlation with SAP. So what do you tell that student?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the money comparison that goes on. It's like, whether you like it or not, HR's main headache is this always. So, this will happen. This parity will be there. And you can move up only by learning.
Right.
I have seen some of my colleagues who have learned, say, a few areas lot early, like HANA or some of the advanced programming languages. What happens with these is they generally go out faster because, for example, as I told now, BTP, if someone learns, they can go faster abroad compared to someone who is working in reporting or scripting or batch data communication and so on.
Right. So I understand what you mean to the student is, while SAP has enough and more future and enough and more travel, that doesn't mean you do not have opportunities. You will also have opportunities irrespective of which technology you're working on.
Compared to other technologies, I think SAP has more opportunities to travel definitely. Go abroad and, I have seen in my career back then, someone who is basically able to punch in a sales order used to get, an offer abroad. That's easy to go. And I chose still Germany because I wanted to learn, I wanted to study there and so on. So, but I have seen my contemporaries actually making, they're all millionaires back then itself, quickly raising up. So it all depends on what you want.
I agree with you, but my question is specifically if a engineering student just coming out of college has got into Java or .NET, that doesn't mean that he will not get opportunities.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. I mean Java, and see, in a way, when we are in a world where we are all in an integrated areas, there's several packages that run on Java on SAP too. Someone who knows Java and ABAP is a killing combination again, and they will do very well on BTP. So the more you know, the more you are resourceful.
Wonderful, wonderful statement. What do you suggest for a student with data science, cloud computing, AI, ML, that's really catching up? And the last 3 months we also saw ChatGPT. So should I choose SAP? Should I choose data science? Should I choose Java, .NET, etc.?
I mean, choosing SAP, you will have to choose all of these things. AI, ChatGPT is already integrated with S4 HANA. So they are already using for NLP, natural language processing. Whereas, data lakes and data science has been existing in SAP since the time HANA has been introduced. So what we brought in was like we brought in some operational analytics. Like I compare my own database, not with any third party or any data lakes where outside my organization. I compare what I have done 10 years in July, what I have been, my progression in July. So I will be able to plan my July's supply chain, whether it is a procurement or a customer or my finances, everything. I'll plan it based on how I have been progressing for last 10 years. So these are operational analytics. So I'm doing it on my own data lake. Similarly, with HANA coming into picture, for operational analytics, you don't need a BI system separately. BI system is generally now required only when you do a lot of data processing from different sources. If you have a primary source as your SAP itself, you can do wonderful analytics. That will, that's actually been one of the biggest selling point for S4 HANA.
You have you have seen enough of students in your career. Today, students are taking up offers from a company, then shopping around. I can't think of a better word than shopping around. I'm sure it's not ethical, and you will agree with me. What do you tell those students?
I don't think it is.
Not just students, but professionals.
Yeah, what happens with, when you have a variety of offers coming in, students are also confused more than shopping. Couple of, thousands more, they are happy. But what happens is they're not really for example, I know one kid who has an offer from L&T, offer from Tech Mahindra and some third small company. He told me about the company, I'm not able to remember it. He rejected the first two and joining the third one for a few thousands more. What happens is he's not getting the credibility of the first two names, learning in these two companies, and also he's learning something which is only for a small product for that small company. So this is basically an awareness that has to come from the ecosystem of the student itself. It could be a professor or parents or someone senior who has to guide them. But again, if the product, that boy is going to work for that product, which is again going to disrupt the market, I would still suggest him that. So it is how you do the choice, what is the product about, what is the technology about, how is he going to learn it, and then how is going to be applied for.
I agree with you. You can go for 3-4 interviews. You can get probably selected in all the 3 companies, but you cannot take one offer from one company and go to another company because it's 1 lakh more or 50,000 more.
Students do actually very less compared to, the laterals. Laterals do, I have an offer from so and so with so much. Will you give me 30% more? So this is a common thing that happens when we negotiate. I don't belong to that category probably because I come from that.
I know we come from a different era, so to speak.
So, but I see, these people negotiating that way. I try to, tell them more. You increase your value by your work, not by just changing companies.
So you will definitely say don't shop around, and oh yes.
I got disappointed quite a few times because these guys takes the offer, they don't join on time, and we plan work according to their schedules and so on.
And also projects get affected very badly. All right. Wonderful talking to you. Can you now, we'll shift gears. I've known you as a friend for a couple of years now, 5 years now. I've also known that you have wide interests in many, many areas. Can you walk us through that?
A few things, I come from a solution background. So when I see politics not performing well, I find some solutions, but I voice out, So those are some of the areas where I'm keen to without really hurting anyone. And I also do a lot of table tennis at home, I play with kids, and about 45 minutes to 1 hour every day we play table tennis as a part of your general, well-being, that's all. And yeah, I have some interest in gardening. I have some interest in helping some of the people who are in need. Particularly, this started off after Corona. A small organization, a few of like-minded friends, we have set it up. So we help some of the needy for healthcare and so on. In fact, We are trying to now bring in one of my professors she's now in Dubai, works for Mudroj University as a dean. They came up with a very good product for cancer affected, patients, where these products work well for them. So we are trying to bring them to cancer hospitals and so on.
You also teach. Tell us that area.
I like to really talk to students. I like to understand where they are, more than what they want, more than what they would learn from me. But I would want to learn what they are at. That is what happens is when you recruit them, right? Training them to your requirement is a daunting task. It's like you really struggle to bring them up to the speed. Sometimes it takes couple of years. So now I go to colleges and tell them, if they can do this. For example, when we did for Lovely Professional University, I was really, they're very good. The questions were coming very well. Whereas couple of colleges, they were not able to even, converse. And a lot of times language is a barrier, I know that. But still, logic is very important for any.
I agree with you, because for me, connecting with students makes me feel young as well. Now, it makes you feel so connected with them and the generation. Right. What are the 3 points that you would want students to emphasize on while building their career?
One thing they should not forget is learning is a continuous exercise. You cannot stop it. Your engineering is over, you have done some Java, C++ or AI, you're out of college, and then your learning doesn't stop there. It's only what you have done is just the foundation. And secondly, what you have to do is you have to be aware of what's happening around you. This is called, I would rather call it situational negotiation skills.
Can you elaborate?
Situational negotiation is more like, okay, I have learned something, I'm using it for here, but what next? Or how do I improve from where I am? How do I innovate? This thought process. Say I have applied one particular technology somewhere. Can I apply it here? See, extending the application or innovating. This is going to be crux of every growth. So I see that every student I talk to, I tell them this. What you are doing is well, good, but what is extra that you're going to do? What's delta that you're bringing in? What is a value add that you're doing? So this is second one. And lastly, don't underestimate your seniors, their knowledge, and you can do this easily if you interact very well with them.
I also see that a lot of students, within a short period of time, 2 or 3 years, they want to become managers, while it may not be a reality. So what do you tell them?
Back then, in our times, we could become managers very fast because there were not many. But now I think you have lots of people. So to take that progression, if you're not able to upskill yourself, maybe do a PMP certification, or go to some, I did SMP, right? One of the.
What is SMP?
Senior Management Program from IIM Calcutta. Similarly, you can do and learn those areas where you can upskill yourself, and no one will be an obstacle to you. You can compete real PMPs and others when you do such courses. Upskilling is a must. Which direction you are going, what you want, you upskill yourself in that direction.
I couldn't agree more with you, Prakash. Upskilling and reskilling is the necessity. But even back then, like you mentioned, they may have been promotions, but that definitely didn't mean in 12 months time we were getting another promotion, etc. It only is hard work that gets you to the vice president level. I have started as an executive. Will I reach a vice president level? Yes, of course. Will I be able to reach a vice president level in 3 years time, 5 years time? No.
Yeah, I tell you, there are 2 ways to look at it. It's not only upskilling, how you apply that.
Absolutely.
And then numbers. I tell you, I used to head a division in one of the companies that I worked earlier. My company used to report a 15% growth overall, but my division used to be more than 30%. Numbers, how you do the cost control for your numbers, how you deliver, how is your pricing. I had the freedom of running my unit independently. Sure. So I'm responsible for P&L there. So I am able to control my costs and then, apply that, my billing rates. I used to look at it. I used to overall make sure I am at least 30% more.
Wonderful, but I'm not into costing. I'm not into billing. I'm into, let's say, HR or .NET or Java, and I'm not responsible for the cost or growth of the company in vis-a-vis cost. What do you tell those students?
Srilata, everything ultimately is numbers.
Okay.
Your numbers will tell you straight away how much I am taking from the company, how much am I contributing to your billing rates. Say, for example, your billing is, say, 20 lakhs and your salary is 10 lakhs. You are giving company a 100% value add.
I'm a little confused. Can you elaborate, please?
Yeah, for example, your billing rates in a year for a company. I'm just giving you an example, not quoting anything that I've seen. But if you're billing for the company, say 20 lakhs in a year, and your cost of salary, your cost to company is 10 lakhs, it is a 100% value add to the company that you're giving. That company will definitely value you and give you a 30% hike or 15% hike, whichever, applicable based on.
Oh, they can get a promotion and an increment as well.
Exactly. So this if someone is mindful, so you will say, okay, I build 20 lakhs and I'm getting 20 lakhs, so there is no growth. Then what you do, you lead a team. You sell the team solution together. So you have now 5 people that are working for you, say, who are all 8 to 7 lakhs of salary cost to the company, and then they are billing still 20 lakhs. So in a team of 5 to 6 people, so that's how the company calculates the profit. So anywhere it is, all service companies work in a similar fashion. So your numbers ultimately matters.
Just to add to what Prakash mentioned, is irrespective of which field you're working in, which area you're working in, it's your contribution to the company vis-a-vis your role, and that's what is going to help you grow.
Even in the staff function, like admin or any other, how much work you're doing, what is the value add that is you're bringing. If you're more than 15%, which is companies reported numbers, you're good.
What or how India is on par in technologies vis-a-vis the West?
I think India is no less compared to any other most advanced nations. In fact, we are way ahead when we are compared with lots of nations. So technologically, I think we are good. But what we are doing is we are still doing low end work. We are not part of the design, that architecture that makes these products much. We are there now, compared to what we were in 90s and 2000s. Now we have changed. The gear changed from probably 2013 to 15. I see a lot of change that's happening on technology front. From Indians are now offering new technologies. We are the ones who are doing even abroad, but but it's happening now from India. So next 5 to 10 years with AI disruption, I see we are going to conquer technology platforms across definitely.
Prakash, continuing with that, what you just mentioned, for a student who's just passing out of engineering, does he need to go abroad to build his career, or are there enough and more chances in India?
See, the bug of going abroad, I had it too. I mean, I'm no different. This is very high among Indians. That's why a lot of students go for masters. Apart from that, the education abroad is a lot better because they do a lot of research. We are now catching up. Our research abilities in the universities have gone really up, with lots of private universities doing a lot good work. Coming back to going abroad, I think going abroad doing masters will really help in 2 areas. One is you understand the culture very well, and your application of technology is actually really go good with this culture understanding.
But isn't that a brain drain?
You can always come back.
But most students don't.
See, India sustained the brain drain. We have lost so much of IIT and so much of IIMs, but we still are there, right? We're still among the top 5 in the world. We are doing that because we have enough powerhouses to develop people.
Absolutely. Wonderful statement again. What are the career progress for India next? Not as a student, but India as a country.
I think India as a country going really good. I appreciate the current governments, both
State and central.
central and state, particularly Telangana. We are in the right path. We are growing extremely in the right direction. I think if they do their things right now, what they're doing, that's good enough to be among the top. We will lead, not top.
Right. I, as an individual, have attained a lot of interests, passions, hobbies. I'm sure you also have. So, what do you think? And these are interests and passions have given me enough motivation, enough impetus to build my career. So, what do you tell that student? What are the areas he can build apart from his focal area of engineering and getting into professional career?
I mean, I raised two kids. I'm raising two kids. You know, I saw one of them is a black belter in karate at the age of like 6 or 7. Why I'm mentioning that is, if you focus at the early age, you are focused. Probably I lagged when I was a student. When I was in school, we were playing football, we were playing cricket, we were playing everything that was coming by, but the focus was like not there.
And these were just, every day evening you used to do that.
Yeah. So now things are changing. Kids are heavily focused on what their interest is. So I see that happening now. So whenever you focus on anything, you learn very well. And once you do it in one area, you can easily do it in the other area, which is needed to you.
And the areas can be dancing, singing, painting, sketching, and what have you.
Writing, you write a lot, I know that. Absolutely. I see my daughter writing a lot, very, very, skillfully. So.
Yeah, Prakash is very right, and I completely agree with him, because once you build those skills, your focus is there, your attention is there, and believe me when I say that, your marks also improve.
Oh, but no comparison, straight away 98s.
Yeah, I've seen students who are my sister's students who have just got 40-50% marks. When they get into the course, they get 85, 90. Wonderful talking to you, Prakash. What do you plan to do in the next 10, 20 years? And what do you plan to do after your retirement?
Interesting. I just changed my job from Entity Data.
Which was a big company.
Entity Data, I was doing really, good. Lots of interesting customers, lots of good work. Now I've joined a company called Creator. Creator is a 12-year-old company where we are forging ahead into more of European and American markets in SAP consulting. And next 5 to 10 years, my plan is to really take this company to a sizable turnover, more than 500 crores. So this is the plan. So we are already working, developed business plans accordingly and doing it. That's the professional front. I also want to contribute a lot that what we are doing right now. Told you right, some of the, I don't call it philanthropic activities, but I would still say some helpful activities to some of the people. So we will continue to do that. And I want to interact with students more as I go forward, because this gives a lot of satisfaction, energy, and understanding of how the world is progressing. This is what is more, this will put you, okay, this is where we are. That's very important to know.
As a senior professional, what are the 2 things that you will tell the student he should do?
Learning.
And learning. Any other points that you want to add?
Learning and innovation. I will call innovation because how you can do it better, how you can do it differently, how it is going to benefit. And these 2 are if you have it, you are there, you are changing the country, not just yourself. That's for sure.
All right. Thank you so much for being our guest today. It's wonderful talking to you, Prakash. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was wonderful talking to Prakash Bharatam today. He led us through his journey from the graduation level. He joined as an executive and grew in his career to the director level. He's also told us that he got to travel a lot in his career. His inputs and his insights were really enlightening to the audience and the students as well. So there are many things that one can learn from today's talk. Thank you so much.